need to fidget. Where's the marker? Oh, I don't even have a pen. I don't even have a nothing.
Welcome, everybody out there, to Divorce Devil.
Did you hit the buttons?
048. Yeah, the buttons.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Divorce Devil 048. I got this thing in front of my face. You can't see it. Oh, no, I can see myself.
That's what she said.
Man. I have to admit something.
Oh, no.
I watched 2 episodes of Divorce Court today.
Is that so you can do the topic?
Oh, man.
Were you like laughing, be like, oh, my God?
It was like Jerry Springer on steroids, man. It was awesome.
I'm pretty sure when I was going to divorce,
You gotta
like
watch
Jerry
that.
Springer, those shows are just mindless shit because you don't want to think about anything.
Divorce Court is mindless shit. You sit there, it's like,
Wait,
wow.
is that Judge Wapner?
No, it's that cute little black girl who married an R&B singer. Judge Faith. Faith something. Bless you.
Dang.
Judge Faith. COVID. Judge Faith. COVID in the studio.
Okay. No, I got the David flu. Didn't you have the flu or some shit?
The flu.
The flu.
Yeah.
That came back after COVID, got rid of it.
Yeah.
And now it's back.
Anyway,
we won't discuss that.
All right, so back to episode 048.
Oh, no.
We're talking about hurt, pain, and blame. That like rhymes.
Damn.
Hurt,
The
hurt,
lyricist.
pain, and blame.
It sounds like what is it, Milli Vanilli? Blame.
Girl, you know it's true. Ooh,
Ooh,
ooh.
ooh, ooh.
Blame it on the hurt.
God, he doesn't know anything.
I'm in love with 2 girls.
Blame it on the
Anyway, back to the podcast.
mother-in-law.
Oh, God, don't start.
Okay.
So
we
back
don't want
to,
to get
hey,
no angry, Rachel.
Divorce Devil 048. Pain, blame, and hurt. What's the difference between pain and hurt?
So pain is like what causes the hurt. Like, I think, right?
I think hurt's more emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Pain is more...
I think pain's the initial, like, oh my God, my heart broke.
And then you process it, and then all of a sudden
Then you just hurt.
I am butthurt.
Oh, yeah.
What is butthurt? Not that your butt hurts.
That's
Butt hurt
big.
is like... That's a lot of hurt.
Take it slow.
Well,
Slow.
So when you have hurt and pain
Welcome to Divorce Devil.
and blame... Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so where does it... Okay, so you... Okay, we just discussed this. Like,
So
people want to
you're
know
getting
from the
divorced.
beginning, yeah.
So you're getting divorced, all of a sudden you have pain. You know the pain of separation, the pain of doing a new reality.
The pain that it's actually a legit thing. This is actually happening. So it starts with pain, then it's blame, and then you're hurt because you got to blame the other person.
I think the pain is different if you start the divorce
Yeah.
or you accept the divorce. The pain is different,
Yeah.
especially if you get blindsided.
Okay, so for your experience, she asked for the divorce. You guys were going to do it, and then you reconciled, and then you did it. So you have both ends of that. Or like you just were done. You've had enough pain.
Yep.
You've had enough hurt.
Yep.
And so now you literally have, experienced both of that. Now it's the blame game. Like you blame yourself too for going back,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Or
but most of the time, what you do is you blame the other person, and I tell people, the blame game doesn't matter because nobody wins. It doesn't matter whose blame it is. You need to move forward from there.
Well,
Just
because
go
once
forward.
you stop the blame, you can deal with the hurt.
Yes.
And it's always going to be painful because I think little pieces of that old life will come back and hit you. And like we said, triggers.
Yep.
So that pain, especially if it's new in your separation and your divorce, oh my gosh, this boy here. Okay, so if you don't have YouTube and you're only listening to us, he's doing peace selfies in the camera.
Just once.
Distracting the squirrel
Just
girl
once.
who has the highlighter. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, he's pretty much a teenager with the selfies. Okay. Where was I now?
Pain and blame.
Yeah, so when you're newly in it, there's going to be a lot of things that trigger and that are painful. Like, okay, especially if, like with ours, it started like when my kids were graduating college. So then it was, okay, we do 4th of July. Well, this is what we normally do. Well, now we're not doing that. Then my daughter went to college. My son graduated college and like he had a new life. So now it was the family has to go move the daughter in. Now all the things that you should have been doing together, you're not doing together. So each new life event, especially when you have kids, can bring up the painful event. And then either before it, like the anticipation of the event can be so hurtful, and like you may not even be sad about having to do that with your ex. It's just, we were supposed to do this as a family, so now it's hurt.
I think the whole episode of you going to a new reality is painful.
Yeah.
Because number one, you're all by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure it out.
Well, and you said too, like when you first started, like you didn't see the kids and all this other stuff, and there's a lot of pain with like one of my things that was the most painful is I was living by myself because, like I said, I moved out. And not having.
But you had a bachelorette pad, man. You're like jamming.
Yeah, I did, man.
You're all by yourself. All by myself.
And it was one of those things where I was staying with my best friend's parents who were older, so it wasn't like I was gonna bring friends over to my parents' house. Like it was. I had to go out and see my friends, or I was like, I didn't.
Wrong with a little bump and grind.
Jesus, gosh, oh my gosh.
Have a song for everything. Okay. All right.
Okay, so again, we are fully loaded with sugars in our hands.
Oh.
David treated today. He got some Dutch Bros and
I jumped on it. So back to the pain, hurt, and blame. Mm-hmm. I really think that blame is a wasted emotion.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you go through all.
Got some cooties up in here. Studio's got some cooties.
Go ahead.
You all right?
Get myself together.
I think he's choking on his own spit. I'm not sure what's happening. That's what happens when you do too many vain selfies over here. Laugh, choking. Can't get himself together. What's this episode about? David choking to death. I'm just watching him choke to death.
But I think, once again, that the hurt and pain are necessary for you to heal.
Yeah.
You got to go through it.
And I think a lot of your defense mechanisms when you're first going through is blame. I'm going to blame that person for every single thing that was wrong in our marriage. And again, it does take two.
Yep.
Generally, there is one person that, falls out of the marriage, meaning like you're not giving 100% effort. It doesn't, a lot of people that I know, recently, especially because of COVID, when they were spending so much time with the person that they thought they didn't like anymore, and then they're like, oh, we're going to stick it out. Well, now we're quarantined. Now we have to stay together. I've heard of a lot of people who are just,
that was brutal.
They're like,
I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine being in like, an abusive relationship or something like that, and then you having to, there was nowhere to go. So a lot of people now have realized that when they go to work, they're happier because they're not with their spouse, and then having to be with their spouse all the time literally led to a lot of divorces.
What about the couple who can't afford to get divorced?
Exactly.
They can't afford to live apart.
They're
like stuck.
We're in the wrong place because I know in like Philadelphia, when you go past the billboard, $99 divorce. It was like a thing. But, it's because of the population too. Like they couldn't afford it. So like if you needed to do it, there are cheaper options, and there is help for people too, especially women that are abandoned. A lot of times, I can't speak for the men's side, but if the husband's a breadwinner and now all of a sudden he's gone with his mistress and doing his new life and whatever and not paying her, what are the options? So all of a sudden she's living in this great life, and now she's collecting food stamps. How? What? So there is help out there. Google's a great thing. But again, if you're left with nothing, you don't have a computer. You not have a phone now. He may have taken your phone. So there's a lot of things that people don't realize when they're going through the verse that are going to cause hurt. They're going to cause pain because these aren't things you had to deal with in a marriage. And, filing your taxes different after you're divorced. There's another what the hell? Like I used to make this money. Now I'm making, $24,000 a year. And now what? Now, what are my options?
Really helped me with my pain.
Yeah.
Karma.
But karma takes a minute.
Yeah, but you got to be patient, though. You got to be patient.
But sometimes when you're at your wit's end, there's no patience. Like, I am the most chill person. I can laugh. I can get along with this highlighter, right? But when I realized that my financial statement, literally wasn't what I thought it was, when my, wasn't getting my son, when I was getting threatened to, have my son taken away, like all this stuff that he was saying because of his hurt that I pulled the trigger, I had a nervous breakdown. Like I literally had a panic attack, and like the ambulance came, the fire truck came. Like
Were they cute?
I don't remember anybody.
Dang, that sucks.
I don't remember anybody other than them saying because I kept saying, he said he's going to take my son. He said he's going to take my son. And I'm like snotting and like hyperventilating. They're giving me like this bag to breathe in, and I see my girlfriend's parents next to me, my 10-year-old standing in front of me, and then like I said, I kept saying, they're going to take me. He's going to take my son. He's going to take my son. And all these people were like, don't worry. We're just going through divorce now. We know where he lives. And I'm like, oh, okay.
The fireman?
Well, because I'm from the town. So everybody knows us. You know, like they knew us, you know, so we're in the same community. And I'm like, all right, well, let's not say that out loud because I do not want to be in part of that because I'm already having a minute. So, I mean.
Well, like you said before, you got to hit rock bottom. In order to bounce back.
That's really what, and I had just started seeing Lance, and I was on the phone with him, and my ex is texting me saying, you know, you're a bad mother, you left us, and blah, 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 and he's like, you know, one day he's just not going to be there, and we're not going to be there, and I'm like, what the hell? But he was so hurt
and mad
that I didn't want to be with him anymore, and it had been a while. But because I was, you know, putting my foot down and demanding some things because he kept demanding and demanding and demanding, I'm just like, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never allowed to be happy because I left. And that's one of the things when we talked about this topic, because generally you just throw a topic at me and I try to think about it. And then I'm like,
I've been good lately.
You have been doing great, yeah. And so when you said the blame, a lot of mine was my blame. I blame myself for leaving. But until I was out of it, I didn't see, I needed to see the hurt I was causing my family, not being happy, or the hurt and pain I was causing my kids by showing them a bad relationship. So I feel like the proverbial light bulb went off. I'm like, I cannot allow my kids to see this is how a marriage works. The fighting, the bickering, the literally starting fights just to get a reaction because it was like, I need you to hear me, and you're not hearing me, so I need to get loud. And I hate yelling. I hate fighting. It physically hurts me. And I was doing it, so I was hurting myself and trying to hurt him, so he knew how hurt I was. So it was like you said, this blame thing just circling and circling.
So at what point did you feel the hurt and pain subside?
I keep saying, Lance really has helped me see that that's not how you love somebody. And I didn't know that this is how you love somebody. Like, I thought I loved him. But if the way I love Lance is how you love someone, I didn't love him. And it was a different kind of love. I think it was an immature love. It was one of those where, like, okay, you know, you get married, you get in a rut, you do this.
The wife, this.
Yeah. And a lot of times I was his wife because the town that we lived in they were very prominent in that town. Like everybody knew them. They know they were big staples in the community. And so I was like, then I was my kid's mom, and then I was the school nurse, and then I was, you know, the PTO president. And then it was like, I have a name. It's Rachel. And this is how it works.
So when you got divorced, you had no identity.
I had none. I had none. And I've talked about this on previous ones I literally did not give a shit if what I was doing, where I was doing it, when I was doing it was wrong, right, indifferent. I didn't want your opinion because I didn't know what I liked.
No fucks.
And that's no fucks. I didn't forgive anybody. But yeah, so who did you blame at first? Because, you know, when she asked you for it, because I think a lot of times when you're blindsided by it, you're like, oh, I'm a terrible husband or I'm a terrible wife. Like, this person doesn't like me that much. They want out.
I was a horrible dad. I was a horrible husband. I caused this. Everybody blame me. My kids blame me.
Yeah, of course.
Because you know, they entertain the extreme hurt. So they lash out to everything. Mm-hmm. So I think I told you that I lost my man card the first time, but I got my man card back, and the hurt kind of went away. I was like, hey, this ain't right.
And the hurt goes away a little bit too when someone else sees your value.
Oh yeah, serial dating really helps.
I know, like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner day.
Oh yeah,
that's not a date day. Yes,
I
need to eat breakfast. Yes, I need to eat lunch, and yes, I need to eat dinner.
Serial dating really helped your ego. It's like, hey, somebody likes me.
You know what's funny though too? Like I found like, I think I keep saying this. I wasn't dating. I was like visiting. Like, hey, sure, you want to go? I can talk to, because I was alone a lot, and I'm not used to being alone.
That you got to hang out with people.
Yeah, and you know, most of the time it was girlfriends going, "Hey, a bunch of us are going out," and blah blah blah. Like the one time I did it was like the adventure date thing where everybody went to Denver. They were going like wine bar hopping, and so you just got on this bus thing. Everybody paid for everybody was single. And it was fun, but I wasn't looking for a person. I was going to hang out with my girlfriends who were also single. It was one of the best bonding days with my girlfriends because when wine happens, cries happen.
Yep.
And you've met me,
Of
so
course.
cries happen
Oh
without
my
wine.
God, it must have been like running river.
I was like, if
Crimea
those buses ran
River.
on tears, that we could get to I don't know, Norway. But
Now, were any other girls getting divorced?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 2 of them were getting divorced. One had already been divorced, and then one was separated. So she's like, I'm not dating. I'm just going to be the DD. Well, I think she got the drunkest. But there was 5 of us. 5 of us. And then we met one of my girlfriend's friend in Denver, because she's from DTC area. And so, there was 6 of us eventually. And then a bunch of people, it was one of those just you pay for a ticket and you get on, and whoever gets on, gets on. And then we met some other women that were doing the same thing. So I think there were men there at some point, but I think we were looking for the opposite sex. But I think we girl bonded over our hurt.
Gotcha.
So I keep going back to a lot of times when I was hurt, I'd call my girlfriends. And they're like, well, this is what's going to happen. And then you're going to do put your big girl panties on. And
so that's another thing, too.
Yeah.
Stops the pain and hurt the village.
Mm-hmm.
Your
and
village.
my village is pretty strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, part of my village left me because I was getting divorced because she was super you need to find God, but her whole marriage was on
they weren't part of your village.
And you know what? Losing that taught me who was really there, and I've discussed that before. My one girlfriend, she literally had gone through a divorce, and I kind of didn't really know that she did, but she kept saying I knew she had a husband. I didn't know the extent of why they weren't together and all this other stuff. And, just from that, she's like, I am not going to pressure you to talk to me about it because I will shut down, hit rock bottom, like you said. And when I rise up, if you're there, I know you're my person. You're my people. This is where I am. Where my girlfriend, who was actually going through a bunch of shit with her husband, I was there for her every time, but she was I need you to be here physically, where I need you to step back a second. I need to take a breath, figure out what I'm doing. And then when I'm ready to talk to you about it, I hope you're there. But I would message her and stuff, but she basically told me that I needed God and that God doesn't see that I should get divorced and I need to work on my marriage. It was 24 years, and I shouldn't just throw it away and blah, blah, blah. But yet, her marital things, not to blast her, but he was unfaithful.
Let's blast her ass.
So many times, and then had a secret life and walked her through. We're going to move her out. We were going to do all this stuff. And then never once did I ill talk of him because I just kind of knew that she wasn't done with him.
I got one. Secret lover.
Yeah. And then, he went to rehab, and then now they're still together. And so good for her. But that's not me. And the fact that she threw religion at me, knowing what my beliefs are and never listening to me, kind of just making me listen to her. And so since not being in that situation, I saw that she needed me. She didn't want to be part of my life. She needed me because I was a stable person. I can make her laugh. I can take her out of her life that she had. I could help with the kids. I could do that. And it wasn't a want. It was, I need you. You don't necessarily have to be in my life. So.
It was a one-way street.
Exactly. So, and what do you think, when, one of the things too is what is one of your biggest hurts? That's one of my biggest hurts. The person I thought that was going to be there for me through this ditched me. I lived in her parents' house.
My biggest hurt was the breakup of the family.
Yeah.
Just breaking the family up and not being that entity.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got over that, it was pretty easy. The entity's gone. There's 2 separate entities. They run parallel, and you try to make the best of it. But once I let that go,
a lot of my hurt was my kids' hurt. I absorbed my kids' hurt because I didn't want them to feel what I felt.
But they got to go through it too. They got to go through it
or
too.
when my parents broke up, or, just any of those things that we had been through. We had gone through, we lost a child. He had cancer. I lost both my parents. There's a lot of things that we dealt with. 9/11 was a big deal.
As a family. Yeah.
As a family. And I honestly look back now and we actually were living 2 different whole lives, and then
Our
we
whole lives.
would come together occasionally because he traveled all over the world with his construction stuff that he was doing, and so like he'd be in Israel for months at a time, and then come home for like 2 weeks or a couple weeks, come back for a week, stuff like that. Then he was like in Africa. He was like all these places. So I literally was keeping the family together. But when he came home, it was chaos. But I had to make everything perfect so there wasn't chaos. So a lot of it was acting.
It's a lot of work.
And so I think that's what it was. I think I got tired. When we got here, and I wasn't covering up the chaos, and I could see it, is when I was like, oh wait, this isn't how this works. And then coming to find out the financials and why the financials were where they were, and all the lying and all the betrayals that were happening, and going like, I've been a fucking good person. I've been a good person, like. And again, I see my flaws. I see, like, maybe I should have had no fucks earlier and been like, hey, you probably need to take some meds for that.
You can always play armchair quarterback and go back and look and say,
because I don't want to blame him. I don't want to blame him for everything, because I did have a great life until I realized that it was a facade. Like I did the trips. But a lot of times when we were doing that, it was like, oh, let's show everybody how great we are. Let's show everybody how wonderful it is.
So do we thank them for
do we forgive them?
Yeah. So do we thank them? My ex for letting me go. Your ex.
Yeah. And I after our last podcast, I really talked it like through. Like, and I had
Did you forgive him?
I did, I guess.
What?
I gave no fucks to forgive him. I gave no fucks to forgive him. But it was more or less like I forgive myself for allowing me to live as long as I did, but I also forgive him for releasing me, because now we're friends. Like I can talk to him.
What's that like?
It's so fabulous. It's like an island, and it's just like crazy and like sparkles. Not really, but anyway, I have to talk him out of getting dogs for my kid. Like what? Okay, anyway.
But you have to, like I said.
I literally have given no fucks and able to have serenity, to have peace, to have this other stuff. Happiness. And I was saying too, like, thank you to all the shit I've been through to make me the person I am, to be able to find my guy.
Yes.
And like, there's a lot of times where now, like, my daughter broke up with her boyfriend, and like, Lance's daughter she has her first boyfriend, and they're coming to me with things, and I want to be able to say, like, watch Lance and I. This is how it should be. But I also want them to see, like, you're going to have a college breakup. You're going to have the hurt. You're going to have you may disappoint somebody, and you may do this, and, you may step over a line that you love this person so much, but you messed up. So, like, you have to know yourself enough to be willing to find out what hurts you will deal with, because there are some little hurts, I don't know. I can't think of one right now, but there's little hurts, like, I said I was going to be home at 10 and we were supposed to do something and I got home at 5. Okay, that's a little hurt. But next time, don't tell me don't give me a time. Like, you're going to be out. You're going to be out. I'm planning to be out, but don't plan something and then be like, you were less important than the thing I was doing. So a little hurt. And then there's the big hurts, I fucked up.
Yep.
So how many fucked ups are you willing to do? And then it's a pain. You don't want to pain the person you love
over and over and
again.
Over.
And then that's the saying too, like, repeating the same bad thing is insanity. Like, let's not live in insanity. Let's find love and know what that means and learn from role models, which we didn't have.
They say that people are in your life for a reason and a season.
Yeah.
Sometimes that reason, 23 years?
Yeah.
Mine was 19 and a half.
Yeah.
And, hey, thanks for the 3 great kids I have. Thanks for the fun times, but then you just move on.
Well, and too, like, there's a lot, my youngest is 10, and I probably, when going through when he was born, we were happy, I thought, but there was some red flags then too, like, just the extra nights out, or the extra things out, or the credit card statement that's different, or this is bad, or, why did I get a thing saying it was a withdrawal? Oh, well, I just transferred to a different account by accident. I wasn't thinking that he was moving money or whatever, so it was like, there was a lot of things even before I moved here. And I'm like, I got my son who keeps me young at heart. And, I wouldn't have been where I am now to find the happy that I'm in now. Because I lived in New Jersey and now I'm in Colorado, dating the love of my life and the best relationship I've ever had. And the person that gets me the most and the person that, no matter how I'm feeling, he reads me. Even if I don't know him and he's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what?
Oh. So do you go through times where you actually question yourself and you say, do I deserve this?
All the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Especially because that's very common.
I think because of all the trauma and the triggers and all that, you almost feel like you don't deserve it.
That will happen less and less.
And you're not sure that you're dealing with it the way that you should because you're so used to covering up someone else's shit.
Chaos.
Yeah. So I'm like, wait, there's no chaos right now? Do I create some? And then do I push him away because I'm going to create some? And then you're like, as a woman, we get in our heads, and I'm sure men do too, overthink or whatever. And
every now and then.
Yeah. And so we have literally, when we ask you a question, we've already had 75,000 scenarios of what you're going to say and how we're going to respond to it. And if you don't say the right thing, I'm going to be mad, even though I already expect this comment or this say.
And that's part of the chaos.
Yeah. And I have apologized for the women out there that we do this, and we are sorry. It's just how we're made up.
Too late. So your thing is chaos. My thing is drama.
Yeah. And what's the difference, though? Just explain the difference.
Well, I think it's more chaos to women.
Chaos happens, right?
Yeah, drama happens too. But
drama is created, I think. You literally are creating a problem when there isn't. Yes. Chaos is, my parents are sick, then this person, the dog is sick, and then this one's sick, and, I have to go pick up this kid from school, but I also work and you work, but your job's more important than mine, but you should go.
But the chaos is part of how you respond to it, too. Mm-hmm. So, which leads in the drama. And
that's a big thing for me, too. I'm always like, I've been through so many different traumatic experiences. They are all generally the same, and how you deal with each one. I usually cry. Shut it, everybody out there. And then now what happens is I usually get teary. He's like, why are you crying? And I was like, I don't know. And then he gives me a couple scenarios, and he's like, well, how are we going to, what do we need to work it out?
Fix this.
And so mine was always, my defense mechanism is laughter. I will laugh in the most painful things.
Ouch.
Yeah, and again, it's because I don't know how to respond, and I'm learning how to respond to different things. Not the way I used to. If you piss me off and I start crying, and then I get super silent, and then I just get this same voice like this.
Are you supposed to laugh after?
Yeah, well, I generally, if I'm crying, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm crying. like that. And then once I realize why I'm crying, if you've made me cry, and now but you're the problem, and I just get this straight affect, and I talk like this.
Show ass.
You should run.
Show ass.
Run. Yeah, so but, a lot of it is just getting past my own insecurities of, being a good mate, because I thought I was a great mate. Okay, I'm tearing up now. I'm not crying.
But everything was relative.
And then,
back then you were the best mate you could have been.
Yeah.
I was right now.
But I was a surviving mate.
Yeah, but right now you're the best girlfriend you could be.
Yeah.
So when you're in the moment, that's when you have to handle that.
Yeah. And so and the other part of it too is hurt. So when your new mate is having a hurt, right? Mm-hmm. And you haven't dealt with that hurt, a lot of times it triggers a pain, and then you're both like, what? So I feel like in my relationship now, if something happens with him, say ex says something, mm-hmm. and it's something that my ex has already said, I can always be like, she shouldn't talk to you like that, or he can say, why are you letting him talk to you like that? Where if you're new in it and you're new in a relationship and you don't know how each other deals with their hurt or deals with their pain, or they say they've gotten through it and then they haven't. I'm like, I don't care what he does. But then I found out he was doing some shady shit recently, and I was just like, do I tell his mate, my ex's new mate? And then I'm like, no.
Hell no.
And then I'm like, well, then I feel bad for her because he's pulling the same shit he did with me. So
why do you feel bad with her?
I know, because that's the person I am. I'm just kind.
Oh.
See, this is the problem.
That's definitely a no fuck scenario.
Yeah. And so, but then the other thing is, it now affects my son who lives there with them. And if they're having problems, now he's seeing relationships. Yes, and I get people disagree and argue and all that. But in my new life, again, like I've said it 1,000 times, and I know it's crazy and I know you're all jealous, but we don't fight. We don't argue. Like he'll say something or I'll say something and we're just like, yeah, okay, right, whatever. Like we kind of laugh it off and then we talk about it. And a lot of my last relationship, my ex, we didn't talk. He just yelled. Everybody cowered. We're like, oh, fuck, now what do we do? And then everybody apologized for his bad behavior. And that's why I think the forgiveness thing triggered me, because I am no longer sorry for someone else's bullshit. Yeah. And that comes with the hurt so many times, and no one's willing to change their tone or change their issues. Why should I have to put the effort into forgiving someone to heal?
There's no effort.
What it is, I feel like if you are forgiving someone, you've thought about it enough to say, all right, I give no fucks.
I let it go. There's no effort. Go on with your life. Ooh, that's you.
That is not me. My phone does not make that noise.
Is that me?
That's you. That's Armando.
That's okay.
Armando's calling. Answer it.
That's all right.
Armando, we're on the podcast. Can you hear us? I just yelled into the mic.
I know.
Armando.
I'm going to call him back.
Okay. So yeah, that's our missing Armando. Legs. It was legs, right?
Hips.
Close. See, I'm getting old. My memory's gone.
Keep talking.
He's still okay. So we're trying to hang up from Armando, but yeah. So a lot of that forgiveness piece for me is, I do not feel like someone else's bad behavior should have any fucks in your life. So let's leave forgiveness for someone who actually is sorry. Like my little guy keeps saying he's sorry for like silly stuff. Like he dropped something out of the refrigerator. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You're mad. I'm like, you dropped something. Like, why are you sorry? That is not a sorry. That's a, oh, my bad. Whereas I unintentionally scratched the side of your car pulling out of the driveway. Oh my God, babe, I know you love your truck. I did not mean that. I'm so sorry. I hope you forgive me. And you don't have to forgive me, but I genuinely am sorry, right? He doesn't have to forgive me for scratching his car. He could be upset or other
stuff. Because he has
too
much pain. He's looking at his scratching his car. There's pain.
I know what I'm
hurts.
saying, but he doesn't have to forgive me, even though he's disappointed that I did that.
See, I live life a little bit easier than that. Life is simple. I'm sorry for scratching your car. Let's move on.
And he doesn't have to say, I forgive you.
No.
Exactly. And I think that's similar, because a forgiveness to me is a genuine, I'm sorry I hurt you, not a just, I
give no fucks.
I destroyed our marriage because I'm a tool. I love that word. I love that tool. Yeah. Tool word. Yeah. But yeah, so like forgiveness to me is no fucks, because I feel like a forgiveness literally has to take time. You have to take time out of your day to say, initially, I forgive you. So if you give no fucks, there's no time. I don't fucking care.
So the hurt and pain elongate the negative effects of forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Like you can't forgive because of hurt and pain. Oh my gosh. Thank you for listening.
That's it.
Thank you for coming.
This podcast is over.
Yes, thank you.
The end date is.
So people out there start forgiving, and then the pain and hurt will go away.
So what about, so let's go like newly divorced.
Okay, fresh. Raw.
Fresh, hot, raw. Yesterday, your wife says, I want a divorce.
Damn.
Hurt,
pain,
blame.
Cry, blame. You go through it.
You go through. Everybody's to blame. The dog's to blame. Yep. The dog shit on the carpet one too many times. Now, that's the problem.
Now I'm divorced because the damn dog shit on the carpet.
Damn dog. Damn dog hair everywhere.
That's a time factor too, man. That hate, pain, blame. I said hate, damn. Yeah. Pain. Oh, this got violent. Pain, blame, pain. They said hate. No,
hurt. The lyricist is just adding verbiage. Like, what is happening?
Hurt, pain, blame. It gets elongated because you got to go through the process, and it takes time for your brain to process.
Okay,
it.
so you being 11 years in, How long do you think, like, when you acknowledged, like, all that was going away? Well, started to go away.
Well, when she pulled the trigger the second time, that's when it started to wane for me. Mm. And the serial dating kind of helped.
Yeah.
Got my mind off it.
Until your employees were like, that's enough for you.
Hey.
You're welcome. Do not date your patients. We're gonna get this through your head. We're gonna get this through your head.
Oh, yeah.
Or we're just gonna make fun of you the whole time because that's fun too.
But you go through that, and then hopefully you end up on the other side, which is the good side for you to heal, because you it's kind of like I tell you, when the plane goes down, the O2 mask come out, you got to put yours on first before you put your kids on. So you got to fix yourself before you can handle your kids.
And when did you realize that you had to fix yourself? Because I was like, I'm fine. I'm awesome. I'm great. I don't need no fixing. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, no, all the triggers of my life started to come back in. And I was like, I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm not doing, I'm taking care of myself enough to take care of my son when I have him. And then if I didn't have him and I wasn't doing anything, I slept. I just slept. I didn't care about nothing. I was just like, I'm good. Like, and not to the point where I wanted to die or anything like that. It's just the point where, like, I feel like I felt like I was dead already. Like, I was just a shell of a person.
Just going through the motions.
Absolutely. And, sometimes people would ask me to go out and, like, and I think back and I'm like, I remember I went, but I don't remember what the hell happened. Like, I know we started here, we went here like this, and then, like, we were home by 9 o'clock because someone was crying in the bathroom, or and a lot of it was I do a lot of crying apparently, and I know whatever.
Not just you, huh?
No, me and my friends, yeah. And especially when
crying.
You're drinking and and your friend lives in walking distance to the bars that you would go to, so it was like, I just want to go cry, okay, and then we continue to drink at her house, or a lot of times it was just sitting too, like just sitting in your chaos. To see, like, I remember just sitting one time, like, and being like, okay, today I have to take this many steps to get to my desk and this many steps to get to there. And then, just going.
So
like,
you just break it down.
I literally, like, when they say one step at a time, like, you really have to do one step at a time. So now, okay, we've got to, say you're a couple months in, you're divorced, it hurts less. When did you start, like, less blaming? Because, like, I blame myself still. Like, I left. It's my fault. Because my kids will throw that at me, too. Like, you left.
That came out with forgiveness. When I was at the bar and I text her, and it's like, hey, I forgive you. So when you forgive them, you also forgive yourself at the same time. So when you forgive yourself, then the blame goes away.
That was an eye roll.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that.
All right. But you forgive yourself and her at the same time.
We have redefined forgiveness.
Her and you at the same time.
See, this is what happens when someone has a great idea and the other person doesn't agree with it. Like,
I know, but you asked me though.
I know I did. I mean, I do have to let you talk sometimes. I've heard.
I know.
Who's calling us now? Uncle Harold.
Uncle Harold.
Does Uncle Harold know you're doing a podcast?
I know. Uncle Harold.
Put him on speaker.
No.
Uncle Harold.
No.
Hey. But yeah, like, I said it's still a lot of time. Like, a lot of times I'm like, I don't know why, because I'm in such a good place. Like, why I blame myself for leaving? Because I feel like people have always left me. And to be the one leaving, I felt guilty. Because, like, these are crazy things. But, like, in past relationships and, like, with my parents and stuff like that, I always felt like they left. Like, they checked out way before they should have mentally. And then, of course, my parents passed away. So then they checked out because they couldn't deal with it anymore. Their, addictions or whatever got them. And so it's like people leave me, and people don't ever stick around when I need them, even with, like, siblings. Like, the first time I needed my sister, when I went through a divorce, she wasn't there. So then you know what I did? Yep. Peace out, because I'm not going to have you leave me. I'm going to leave you.
I've got a question for you.
Oh, shit.
This is a little different. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, hell.
That first kiss after being divorced or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it guilty kiss? I need this kiss?
Oh, no. So mine's a really good story. And it was like almost psycho murder like stuff because so like at work, you always have that one dad. Oh, my God, the hot dad. Sorry, babe. So there's this hot dad who I knew was going through divorce. And his kids were like,
easy pickings.
Easy pickings. And I knew he was going through some shit. And like, the one day his son was having a hard time because the parents were going to divorce, blah, 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 blah. So the end of that day, like, we were at the park.
So wait, time.
Yeah.
Is that work product?
I might be.
I don't think that's work product.
I don't know what the hell that means.
Don't ever give me shit again. But go ahead.
Oh, no, because the kid is actually the person I take care of. The dad is just a product of the person I take care of.
One person away. I
Listen,
still think
so that day, the kid was having a hard time, and so he came to my office saying he had a stomach ache, and so I got him to the counselor, and the counselor found out his stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And so I had my son that day, and we're like, let's just go to the park and hang out, and so we're at the park, and they are at the park.
This is getting good.
And I have this thing where people kind of just tell me stuff, even if I don't want to know it. And so we're sitting there, and the dad comes over, and I was like, not thinking about, like, hot dad. And he's like, yeah, and, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what happened today with his son? And I was like, okay, whatever. And so we're talking. And he's like, we should get a drink sometime. And I'm like, yes, we should. So, I think it was like 2 nights later. I was like, well, I have.
Give me shit again.
Shut the hell up. It wasn't serial dating my kid parents' things at school. No. Stop it. So, that actually, like, turned me off to the whole thing. So anyway, this is a good but bad story. Okay. So anyway, so 2 days, I thought, well, I have my son, I don't have him this weekend. He's like, well, I don't have the kids. They're going to their grandparents, blah, blah, blah. So let's just go to the local brewery. We'll grab a drink and it'll be nothing. And we know everybody, blah, blah, blah. So we go. Well, apparently he decides he's going to smoke pot for the first time in like 20 some years. And literally just tells me his whole life story. Him and his wife was in jail for beating him up because she like had a fucking rage or something. Then he's crying. Then he gets drunk, and I have to drive him basically home. And like, before the whole drunk thing, he got me a drink, and he came back and he like kissed me on the cheek, and I was like, oh, okay. That was the thing.
All right.
And so then, like, they were playing music, so we kind of danced, and then they gave me a kiss. I was like, oh, the little foot raised up a little bit. Like, oh, he's cute. Uh-huh. All right. And then dumbass gets high and drunk at the same time. I didn't know that was possible, but apparently you can get really, really drunk when you're high. He was, like, smoking one of those, like, little light-up pen thingies.
Stogie? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It looked like a vape thing.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I haven't gotten high in, like, 25 years. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, like, you're impaired. Like, you're stupid impaired. At the time, I was super thin. I lost a lot of weight. So I had no, like, muscle. And this guy, this guy's, like, 175 pounds. I'm not. And so I'm like, I can't carry you. Like, I can't pick you up. Like, I literally. So I'm trying to get him into my car because he can't have his car. Well, I know the person that owns the brewery. I'm like, we're going to leave this car overnight. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I drove him home, and like he leaned in to give me a kiss. I'm like, oh, no. That's not going to happen. So my dreams were shattered of the hot guy. They ended up selling their house and moving, thank goodness. Well, COVID happened, and they were cleaning out the school. So I had to go back as a nurse and like make sure things were sanitized and giving kids their things back that were sitting in the room for 2 weeks and blah, blah, blah. Well, mom is back from jail, and apparently mom and dad got back together and read all of dad's text messages to me. And she called me a home-wrecking whore in the middle of my work.
At school.
And the principal's like, so what happened? I was like, here's what happened. And I was actually dating Lance at this time now. So this has been months, this is like November or something. I met Lance in January.
Something like that. You got to be quick. Got to say thank you.
No, and then like March happens, and then I'm like in a committed relationship, and some lady's trying to kill me who's just been in jail for beating up her husband. I'm like, I'm going to die. But I'm like,
how do you make this shit
she
up?
got a broken foot, so I think I can take her. But
people out there,
do not date people from your work.
Don't date people from your work.
Whether they're the children's parents or whatever. But yeah, bad experience, first kiss. But then after that, I was like, okay, well, this is going to happen, blah, blah. Actually, that's probably like August, because I met, the relationship I had before Lance.
So the kiss?
It's like right after that.
Was like maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't kissing people when I was going out and doing something. No.
What?
Cooties.
Okay. You're right. Yes. Cooties, yes.
I wasn't. Yeah, no, I wasn't.
I was
kissing.
like fist bumping and elbow.
No, there was
bumping.
definitely hugs and like kiss on a cheek or something like that. But like
How about-
I told you, I was visiting. I wasn't dating. I was
was
like,
no-
I will visit you today because I
there
have
was-
nothing else to do.
There was a half hump, no humps.
No. We ain't getting
My
no
little
like
lady lumps.
vaginosis or we're
My
not getting.
little- How do you
I'm
get
a school
vaginosis?
nurse. I don't know what you're getting. You're
how
not
do you-
getting any herpes
How
or.
do you get vaginosis from humping?
I'm saying we're not doing any of that stuff because you're gonna get something. I'm like, what's your sexual panel? And then so yeah. But there was early on there was some like there was a lot of like dancing, lots of dancing.
Dancing.
I love to dance. But like Peggy would take me out to these young club things. I was like, what is happening? And you got like the 20-somethings all like trying to like hit on you. I'm like, dude, I could be your mom. I could be your grandma. Knock it off.
And that's okay. Hello.
I wasn't into it at first.
And on that note, folks, we're gonna close this up. Any parting words?
I do have a younger boy, but only by like 3 months.
Any parting words for blame, pain, hurt, not hate, but hurt.
I feel like when you're first in it,
Hate's gonna be next week.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
because I got a lot of that.
a lot of hate.
No, I think I worked through my hate with forgiveness because I hated her. And then I hated him for allowing her to be like that with me. Ex-mother-in-law. Okay.
Back to pain.
So pain was because of someone else's actions, I now will no longer be able to live the life that I thought I was going to have, like, what I thought was happy. Then it was pain was all the things that kept hitting me that I didn't know that I'm like, I'm so fucking stupid for not knowing this. Like,
But you're not stupid.
I feel...
You didn't know.
Yeah,
but you know what? I know your blame. Your blame is the chick with the boot on her foot that's going to kick your ass.
No,
that's your blame, baby.
That taught me dating experience.
That's your blame because she blamed you for
because right after
Homewrecking.
that, I literally started dating apps because I was just like, oh God, nothing close to home, nothing like, because I got on like a couple breakfast things, a couple lunch things. I have a Saturday, I don't have anybody. Like, I'm going to go out to the bar and I'm going to talk to some stranger.
When you say your radius, 1,000 miles.
Yes. No. Far away.
Far away.
But then it's so funny because like Lance worked like literally 5 minutes from my job. But anyway,
that's almost like work.
So that's when I started dating apps. I'm like, I can't.
That's work product again.
Well, because it was so funny because I had a lot of moms going, well, did you know this one's dad is single, or you should go to the country club, you should go here, you should go here, you go there.
They're everywhere.
And then I was like, wow, there's a lot of people that are single. And then it was like, yeah, no. Because I had one dad, and he was just like, you should come over and we should have drinks. And I was like, we should meet at the country club and have drinks. And then it was like, you should come listen to me play guitar. And I was like, I got there, I was like, I'm going to be murdered. I need to go. And then his son was like, they're like one of my favorite students. And I was just like, every time I saw him, the dad would come and I was like, oh, Hunter, you got to go. Bye, buddy. You got to go. Joey, you got to go that way because nope. Like all this little stuff.
So you did this more than once.
Well, this is what I was single a hot minute before
I don't want to hear from you anymore.
I
don't want to hear from you.
I was single a hot minute before I knew that I could date because I didn't think I was dateable.
What's the difference between being single and not being able to date? You lost me.
Oh, because I didn't think I was desirable.
Okay, that's right.
Remember? Yeah. Because I've been
everybody out there, when you go through a divorce, you're desirable, but you go through that, think you're not desirable, but you are.
Why would anybody like me because I left, or why would anybody like me because I was in a crazy marriage, or if they knew my ex, like and
somebody dumped me.
He's great, he's so awesome, blah blah blah, in public, but so I feel like you go through different stages of blame, hate, well, not hate, blame, hurt. What are those words again?
Blame, hurt, pain,
and it gets better over time with most things, and you just have to know that no matter what you're going through at what point, it will get better.
Yep.
And no matter how you're feeling, it's okay.
Because number one, if we can do it, anybody can do it.
Oh, God, if this crying heap of mess can get out of bed.
And she tried to cry earlier, folks.
I did. I wiped that shit away because I don't want to hear
video.
I do not want anybody. So, I think I was over here for half of it, so it's just like half of my face.
So Lance and Jeff, she did cry. So
Jeff? Are you the one who said that she didn't cry? I got mad words for you.
Yep. All right,
I'm
everybody.
Healing and I'm real.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe. All that good stuff. Any more words?
I have lots of words, but you need to hang up now.
I know. All
because
right.
I could keep going
Good
and
night.
going and going.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.